And they said, don't quit on your hardest day. And the reason that you don't want to quit on your hardest day is because it's your hardest day. If you're going to quit, quit on your best day because things can only go up after that hard day. And you want to make sure that you just continue to push through that one more day.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to my show. My name is Tiffany, and this is Unveiling Journeys. I have an amazing show for you today. Let me just tell you a quick little bit about myself. I love doing this. I love hanging out with people, being introduced to phenomenal people. And I got this new lease on life to be an introducer or connector when I started attending networking event meetings probably 2.5 years ago. Now, if you guys know me at all, I've been doing seminars for 20 years. So it's not unfamiliar to me to meet 50 or 100 people a weekend, but I never really kept any of them. I never really thought, wow, you need to know so and so. And so when someone gave me the language and showed me the script of how to allow myself to Rolodex everybody and then realize they all kind of fit together like a puzzle piece, I became this connector. But dang, when you get to be introduced to some really cool people, you can no longer be quiet about them. So the show was impressed upon me and then strong-armed me to invent the show. And now you guys are here. And I'm so excited that we've been able to do so many episodes with so many amazing people. And that's why I keep going, because I love everybody that I've been introduced to. So with that, when you guys meet new people, hear them out, sincerely listen, and then say, wow, I have people I'd love you to know if you do. And if you don't, you can still say, wow, who do you know that I need to know? It's like giving you permission to ask for a referral. I love that. I have Amanda that I'd like to introduce to you guys. We, of course, got introduced to each other through the power of networking, and we've had some phenomenal chats. And so she gets to have her turn on my show today. So, Amanda, welcome. Thank you so much for your time, for coming, and for being able to be so open to share your journey. Tell everybody what you're up to right now. What are you doing?
Well, first off, thank you, Tiffany, for having me. I am so excited to be here today. As Tiffany said, we actually met through networking, and I think we've known each other for almost a year at this point. And you've passed tons of referrals my way, and I've tried to do the same for you. Probably not as great as you. You are amazing at connecting people, so I appreciate you. So a little bit about me and what I'm doing. So my name is Amanda Heater. It's just like it's not spelled the way people think it should be, but it's Peter. I always say, think of a furnace, and then you'll know my last name.
Nice.
I am the founder of an amazing company called Across the Horizon Travel, and we are a luxury travel agency that helps people be able to cross off places that they want to go that are on their life list. And I actually specialize in something really fun where I work with coaches and speakers, associations and corporations, and I help them put on and put together retreats, events, conferences, summits, whatever it might be. And it is so much fun. I just love being a part of the party and I get to be a part of all of it. So that's what I do. And you're asking what I'm working on right now. Oh my gosh, I have so many things, but I will pick out one. So and this is another reason we got connected. We both love Jesus. So God put it on my heart about 3 weeks ago to put together this kit for people that want to put on a retreat or an event, whatever it might be for the first time. And maybe they don't want to hire anyone to help. So, what I did is I took all of my tips and tricks from like the 42 years of my life and pieced it together into some really amazing documents that walk people through literally the beginning to after the event is over. And then I'm including all of these extra bonus materials. And then on top of that, I'm creating a mastermind with the first 15 founding members, and it's called Heat Up Your Retreats Mastermind. So I'm really excited about that because as soon as I launched it, people were like, oh, I got to know more. And so
Yeah.
we already have 8 people that have decided to join, and I'm limiting it to 15. So we are already over halfway there. And you know that like when things just go that quickly within a short period of time, that God's in it and it's needed.
Oh, yeah. So many one-liners I could pop off right now, but it's like the same God that gave you the vision for the business that you're running with is going to be the same God that brings you the clients. So I love that he's doing that for you already in a big way. But
Amen.
let's just call it what it is. I meet so many people that need what it is that you have. And you're so generous to be able to put together all of your wisdom and be able to offer that to people. I didn't even know that you're doing that. I'm really excited for you in that. And that's a little bit of the people I look up to with some like business advice is like, just give away what you're going to do. Cause the people that aren't going to want to do it are still going to hire you, right? The question makers that were going to drain your time and energy. You're like, I've given you everything over here. The people that need to hire me, it's like you're freeing up your time from the people that just want to get free stuff from you. Right?
Exactly, exactly, and girl, it's only $97, so,
Oh, that's
like, when
cool.
you're getting a full kit for 97 bucks, and I'm
Hmm.
never changing that price, so it's gonna be $97 for the kit for forever. Now, joining the mastermind, that's gonna change as we evolve and grow, but I'm keeping that open so it's affordable for anybody and everybody that wants to put together something that will create transformation, and God was like, "You gotta offer this for $97." And I was like, "Okay, God, seriously?" But I was like, I just listen, and I tell you what, there are so many people that need it, and that's what it is. I'm just filling a need.
Absolutely. And how many people are moving to the ability to do this stuff? Because in a world of AI, in a world of just like online coaching and online presence, like to do a live event with people face to face or Zoom to Zoom, at least like having a camera on and not just staring at some pre-recorded content. I think people are seeking this more now than ever because in a world of we're like, hey, can we make it a mandatory thing to say, hey, this was made with AI so we can determine what's human and what's not human at this point? So you're in the right place, the right time to bring what you have as like a valued source of everything to all these people that need this because people should be moving to more human centric stuff instead of just a bunch of AI fluff or whatever you want to call that word. Um, but oh, this is so cool. I also love your posts. Like you post when you go travel and you are sharing people what it is you're doing and you're living it. You're not just like, yeah, I'm behind my desk. I'm planning a place for you. No, like you do travel and you do go to events and you're a fan and you're a prodigal of your own systems that you do for people. And I appreciate people that do what they say is, I guess what you would call it. So it was awesome to have you on because I wanted to tell people about you and the cool stuff that you do and that you are praying over your clients and that your business and that I believe that when God has a footprint in people's businesses that he gives them the ability to thrive and we have a peaceable event and we have just like a blessed way about everything that is you're doing, which I'm a fan of. I want everything that I do to be such a blessing to so many people because if it's not, then it's not probably going to go well.
Right.
So, I'm a huge fan. Tell me, I love this so much, but I want to hear your whole story. Like this is called Unveiling Journeys. I want to start from the beginning. Where are you from? Did you even go to school for this? Like, what do you think you were going to be growing up? And let's start from the very beginning.
Okay, so I love being able to share my story. Now, my story, we could go on and on for hours. So I'm going to give a bird's eye view. So you might be like, oh my gosh, you just like said all of these things, but you didn't go into detail. And that's okay.
I'll
Um,
stop you with
so
some of them so we can go into detail with some because we've got time.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, let's talk about it. So I grew up in a Christian home. Both of my parents were believers, and they still are. Obviously, not were they are believers. And so, at the age of 5, I came to Christ, and I realized that if I didn't ask Jesus into my life and change my life to the good, and allow Him to come into my soul and turn my hard heart into a soft heart, that I was going to go to hell. And so, at the age of 5, I accepted Jesus into my life and then in my teenage years, I started to rebel as typical teenagers do, and I got pretty far away from God. And at the age of 18, I actually got pregnant with my daughter. Actually, I was 17 and had her at 18. So I just graduated high school and got pregnant right out of high school. And I was a child having a child. And that really changed my life because when you go from thinking that it's just you're taking care of, and then you have another human to take care of, especially at the age of 18, it changed my life. And honestly, that was when I first realized what true love was. Because as a parent, when you have a child, you
Yeah.
start to realize how much God loves us. Obviously, we can't fathom that love because we're human. But I remember holding her right after I birthed her and just bawling my eyes out while my dad played the song Michelle by the Beatles, because that's my daughter's name. And I just like was like, I didn't even know I could love something this much. And
Right?
so I still stayed so far away from God. I ended up meeting another guy after my daughter's dad, so chose wrong for the second time. And had my son with him, and that relationship was full of a lot of abuse, with alcohol abuse and physical abuse. So I was with him for about 8 years, and there was a lot of physical abuse involved in that. And people would always say, well, why don't you get out of that relationship? And once you are involved in something like that, where it is a cycle, where you go around like a hamster on a wheel very slowly. It's like things get better, then they get worse, and then the really bad thing happens and then just goes around in circles and circles. And during that time, I was a raging alcoholic. I was drinking to be able to subdue the pain from getting pregnant at a young age and then being in a really toxic relationship. And so I was with him for about 8 years and got to the point where the cops were at our house all the time. I went to jail one time. Yeah, that's a story in itself.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. That's a whole nother rabbit trail, right?
It is a whole nother rabbit trail. But there was just so many times where my daughter was seeing me get hit physically, and then my son was still a baby and was growing up in this until about the age of 5. And I was like, I can't continue to have my children in this environment and think that it's okay for their mom to be abused and to put up with it as well. So I decided to step away, and I ended up moving a couple states away because I even if you move a couple towns away, it's real easy to get back in that relationship, because I tried that and it didn't work. So I ended up moving a couple states away. And as you can see during all of this story, I had a guy after a guy after a guy. So, I was with my daughter's dad at the age of 17, immediately hopped to someone else very quickly after that. So moved down to Georgia. And within 6 months, I was dating another guy.
Oh
I
my
did
gosh.
not know how to be alone. And so this one, I thought, oh, he's going to be wonderful. And so I had my 2 children. He had his 3. So we were like the Brady Bunch when we would walk around with the kids. People would look because we'd have 5 kids trailing behind us. It was chaos anywhere we would go. But very quickly on into that relationship, there was infidelity. And then things really started to change during that time. So this is when I was starting to step into the entrepreneur world. So my ex-husband and I, which I already gave away a part of that story, but my ex-husband and I actually started 2 businesses together. We had a catering company and we opened an auto repair shop. And this is all pre-COVID. Once COVID hit, as everybody knows, the world shut down. So during that time when COVID hit, it actually hit our home really hard. And so to backtrack a little bit, because I skipped ahead, I tend to do that. This is called ADHD at its finest. So, for any of you that can resonate with that, my apologies. Let's backtrack a few years. So, in our marriage, with supporting 5 children, as you know, it's expensive, and so I was going to school getting my bachelor's degree. He was working as a mechanic, and I was working part time. And so, in order to bring more income to our home, we started selling drugs out of our house. So it started with marijuana, and we both at that point were addicted to marijuana. I was a wake and baker. I would get up and smoke all day long until I would go to bed and repeat the process on top of drinking alcohol. And so we realized marijuana didn't bring in enough money. So then we started bringing cocaine into the house, methamphetamine, pills, everything and anything between. And I actually got addicted to cocaine for a short period of time, for about 6 months, and realized that is a very toxic substance to be addicted to. So during this time, there was, again, like I said, infidelity. There was abuse, not physical, but it was more mental abuse. I constantly caught him cheating on me, and it was really rough. Um, but we ended up losing our home during COVID time. So to go back to where I was originally trying to go in the story, we ended up losing our home. And during this time, as being an addict, not having any income, I reached out to my parents and said, hey, can I come live with you? And they said, sure, but there's going to be rules, because they knew I was an addict during this time. So when I moved into their home, the rules became, you can't go out past midnight. There's no drugs. You got to get a 9 to 5 job. You have to go to church every Sunday. So all of these rules that I was so angry about actually turned my life around back to Jesus. And I had
Yeah.
been so far from him, gosh, since I was like 16. And at this point, I'm trying to think now. I think I was 38. 37, something like that. It's been a couple years, so the older you get, the brain stops working. So I had been away from God for about 20 years, and I turned my life back around to God and realized that it was time for me to be alone. So I ended up getting a divorce from my now ex-husband. It was for the best because was still having addictions with the methamphetamine that he was on, and that is a tough road to walk when you are married to someone like that. And so I actually have been single now for almost 5 years, and it
That's
has been
great.
one of the best things I have ever experienced in my life because, to go back to what I originally talked about, I was able to start a business. And this business I've been able to focus on, and it has become, I don't wanna say that I love it, but I do. It has become, like, where I put a lot of my energy and invest it into, where I can help change lives. And I've also been able to spend a lot more time with my children because most of my life revolved around a man. And so my kids were really able to see me in a different light where there was no addictions. I wasn't, like, hazy all the time. My kids would be like, "Mom, do you remember this from, like, 5 or 6 years ago?" Nope. I was too high or too drunk to know anything that was going on. And so now to actually be more present in my children's lives and also be able to work for myself at home and be here with my kids, travel with them, my life has changed so much. And I bring that into what I do when I help people create their experiences because travel in itself allows you to get away from the mundane life and to open your eyes to be curious to a new place, be able to experience a new culture, new food, whatever it might be, and really be able to allow that transformation to come in and maybe change your heart back to God or to have an aha moment for your business or reconnect with your spouse or your children. So it has honestly been one of the best things that could have ever happened to me going through a divorce and being single.
Yeah, it's like hard but so good. Yeah, I love that for you to be able to find that and be able to stick with it. It's so hard. It's so hard. I remember the times in my life when I was single after my divorce. It was like, I should not be running into the arms of another person. Goodness. Oh, wow. I love that you have had such success out of finding yourself on your own and being able to come back to the Lord. That's like what he wants. They say, what in the Lord rejoices more in that prodigal son to come back than the rest of the people that kind of never left, right? Like he is so
Yes,
excited to have
yes.
you back.
Mhm.
And in that, opening this line of business, what made you want to do this? Like this, what inspired you, or how did that start to formulate into what you're doing now?
So, as a kid, my parents would always take us on yearly trips. So, going somewhere new was a big part of my life since a young age. And then as I got older, I would plan all the trips for my kids and, friends and family would go with me. People would always turn to me and be like, "Hey, can you help me plan a trip?" And I'd be like, "Sure, like here's my recommendations." And I kept being told over and over again by friends and family, "You should be a travel agent." I'm like, "No," because at that time I had a bachelor's in legal studies. So I was originally going to go off and become an attorney but realized there was a lot of work behind that. So I was a paralegal for 15 years of my life. And that in itself was like, that's a steady income. Being a travel agent is sales. Like, I don't know if I want to do that. Everybody always says, I don't want to be a salesperson. I'm not a salesperson. We all are salespeople in our own ways. If you're putting up a Starbucks photo, like, I love this coffee on your story, then you're a
Right?
salesperson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so that's kinda how I stumbled into it, and I really wanted to be able to travel more, and post-COVID, when everything opened back up, I was like, "All right, I'm ready to do something new." I had had 2 failed businesses with my now ex-husband, and I was like, "I love this entrepreneur world," still working full time, and I was like, "Let me build something." And 2.5 years ago, I finally left the corporate world, said goodbye to a really great job, and I haven't looked back since. Now, don't get me wrong, there have been some hard days where I'm like, "Maybe I should go back to 9 to 5." But then I think,
Hmm.
I would not have this freedom of time anymore, and I love it.
Yeah. That's what's interesting about, which is another reason why I love bumping shoulders with other entrepreneurs because that's like our worst case scenario. It's not like, oh, homelessness. It's like, no, my worst case scenario is to have a job. Like it's always going to be there. We'll figure it out, even in the hard times of finding a job, because people are like, I've applied to 100 jobs. I'm like, but as an entrepreneur, you bring a valuable skill set as this like I don't know, visionary or do it yourself or like follow through with kind of a human. That's what I don't want to do is fall back into a regular style of job because I vision this bigger picture for so many other people, let alone myself, you know? So I feel you on that one. Now this line of work that you're in, how did it formulate into working with people to do retreats too? Because being able to just be a travel agent, which I don't want to say just because I mean you're good at what it is that you do.
Thank you.
Growing into that, what was that like?
Well, it was actually God because when I was leaving my 9 to 5, I was working with my business coach and I was like, I don't want to do the typical family and romance travel. Like and all I'm assuming everybody probably is on Instagram or TikTok. You're going to see an influencer that's a travel agent talking about the deals that they have and go on this trip with your family. And I was like, I don't want to compete with those people. I mean, they do say the pie is always big enough for everyone, but there is still a lot of competition in that. So I actually had planned my own event a couple years back where I shared my story in front of a crowd for the first time. And that was a healing process for me doing that. But as I was planning this event, it was just me and this other girl planning the event ourselves. And it was a lot of work. And so I realized that when it comes to retreats, summits, conferences, I needed somebody that was there to kind of just facilitate things in the background, and I didn't have that, and I found that there was a need for that, and so I just started offering my services up of saying, "Hey, like, I know the travel world, I know how to read contracts because I was a paralegal for 15 years, so I can negotiate group blocks and
Yeah,
all the things." Yeah, like, bringing that into the world that I'm in now is always like, "God, why was I paralegal?" Now I know why.
right.
It's like, "Oh, God, you knew." So I realized there was a need for it, and I decided to fill that need, and God has been good. He has brought so many amazing people into my life. I'm blown away by it, and it's fun because I get to work with other entrepreneurs. I tell you what, working with a typical family or, a couple, I have to be transparent. They don't really tend to respect your time of like, I work 9 to 5. They will message you at any time of the day. When you work with an entrepreneur, they understand that you have working hours and that they're a lot in my opinion, a lot more pleasurable to work with.
That's so funny. I love that the alternate views of like, oh, like what can we do from 9 to 5? Or like, that's why when people said, oh, if you're in real estate, you should be an agent. I'm like, they never stop working. You're going to be hit up for so many things. I don't want to do that. I want to hire them to be the best at what they're doing. So
Yes.
Um, yeah, that's so neat. And then the more you do it, the better you get and the more like experience and then the ability for you to throw these events together. It makes me think in my mind of one of my friends who's like a wedding coordinator. People are like, "Why would I pay for a wedding coordinator?" I'm like, "So you can enjoy your day." And they put all of the things that need to happen all in one spot. Whereas like an event planner, it's hard if you've never done an event, which I've done multiple real estate events, but man, we had to find a place and then arrange flights for everybody. And then we had to figure out itineraries and make sure who's emailing the stuff out, like who's following up with these people. There's so many pieces of all of this that if you're going to one man band this up, let alone have a team of people, at least start with a firm foundation of this project that you've put together to be able to tell people how to do it. But it's so much work. Oh my gosh. And if you're like looking for people to come, just like that's another marketing angle. Ooh, even and could be millions of dollars, by the way, or hundreds of thousands of dollars to get butts and seats. But um, this is so cool to feel that all those little tiny pieces added up to this place where you're at now to be used in all of the cool gifts that you have. Some are hard to attain and some of them just come naturally to you to be able to enjoy time with people and doing all this. Now, let me ask you, this is still like you say it's a 9 to 5, like you're putting in a lot of hours for these clients because you care so much, right? But why do you keep showing up? Like, why do you keep putting in the hours and why do you do what you do still?
Honestly, it's my kids. Being a single mom, I have to be there. I have to provide for them. And one thing that I've found since being at home, I missed out on so much with my son because I was working full time and going to college. Then I was running businesses with my now ex husband, and I was never home. And the businesses we were doing were service businesses that you had to be like actually like out and about or in a brick and mortar. So I missed so much of my son growing up. Now, my daughter, like I was around her a lot more during that time. She's 4.5 years younger than my son. But what I've realized is like I'm able to be here with him in the summer. So this is his summer, but right before college starts. And I get to spend time with him because I'm here at home. I get to be like, all right, we're going to block out the day and go hang out. We're going on a cruise next week. And I get to take as much time off work as I want compared to the 2 weeks that you get with an employer. And so that is really my big why of what I do. The other part of my why is I know that there is a need and I want to fill that need. I have a heart of service. And so I'm always wanting to just be there to help. And when someone is putting on an event for the first time and they really don't know what they're doing, having someone to guide them that they can trust and know that's a believer in Christ and will take care of them. I wish I would have had that with my event. And that's what I'm here for is to make sure that someone has that person to lean on, to cry on their shoulder, to trust in, and to celebrate with when the event is over.
I love that. It's interesting whenever you've gone through something yourself and you're like, wait a minute, there's a need for this. I am the perfect person to fulfill that need. And let me invent up my own business, which is my favorite people interview on the podcast because it's like you are out there envisioning this stuff up. It made it happen. It's your own company now. You fulfill this need for other people that didn't even know they needed it. And now we just need to tell people, hey, you don't know what you don't know. Let's get you there before you have your first event where you had to experience what I had. Like when you hire an expert to get you through something maybe faster, quicker, better, easier, you're getting that knowledge that you had to suffer the hard way through it to be able to make it better for other people. And you're like, please let me save you the effort. That's what I want to tell people about. So all of my speakers and my authors and my people that are getting ready to host events and retreats and so forth, listen, reach out. Like, why wouldn't you have an extra phone call with Amanda? Which, by the way, what is your favorite way for people to get a hold of you? Because at this point, they need to know you.
Oh, you're so kind. So you can easily find me on my website, which is acrossthehorizontravel.com, or you can email me at Amanda at acrossthehorizontravel.com. Those are the quickest and easiest ways to get a hold of me.
Perfect. And then anybody that's missing that, they're in the show notes. Send me a message. I'll get you with Amanda, and you could shoot her a message. Like we're connected like on LinkedIn, a couple other professional places. So you're not hard to find, which is great. Now I only have time for a couple more questions, but what's next? What's on the horizon? I know you have Horizon in your business name. What's coming up soon?
Fun play on words. So, what's next is I didn't really talk about this much, but I have a ministry called Across the Horizon Collective. And it is a community of women that I've always wanted to be a part of a community of women. I wouldn't say worldwide because I'm a travel agent. And sometimes when you're in church, women tend to like put this mask on. And especially like when you're meeting in church or maybe meeting in someone else's house. So I had this idea to put together a group where women can be outside of the church, where they can meet with other women that love Jesus and connect. And so I have a retreat coming up in October 15th through the 18th with my friend Michelle Rawls. We are hosting it here in St. Louis, and it's going to be all about like finding your identity in Christ, making sure to eat healthy because Michelle is a nutrition coach and a veteran nurse. So she has a whole story in itself too, and she loves Jesus. And then also finding a way, or not finding a way, let me backtrack. You knowing how to put your story into your testimony, combining those together and being able to share the good news and the gospel with Christ. I have found when I talk to so many women and I ask them, how do you share the good news? Like if someone asks you if you're going to heaven, what would you say to them? And a lot of them just sit there and go, um, it's so easy. It's just share your story. And I'm going to
Uh-huh.
be teaching them how to share it in 30 seconds, a couple minutes, a longer format, so that they can easily get the gospel across to any person that they meet on the street, at a coffee shop, at church, whatever it might be, because we are here, we are put here on this earth to be a bright light and to share the good news and the gospel with each and every person that we come in contact.
I love that because that is exactly the few things we've been left to do is we're commanded to share the good news, the gospel, the reason why we all get to go to heaven for those that believe in Jesus. I'm in. I'm in. I love this. Um let's do this. I want to wrap up our show, but what should we leave with everybody as like your final nuggets of wisdom that we can say as our parting words?
So, one thing that someone told me, because again, I am a what do they call serial entrepreneur? I've done all kinds of things. And they said, don't quit on your hardest day. And the reason that you don't want to quit on your hardest day is because it's your hardest day. If you're going to quit, quit on your best day because things can only go up after that hard day. And you want to make sure that you just continue to push through that one more day. You will be so grateful that you did because I have heard so many times, and I believe this to be so true, that it's just like a pinata. When you're hitting a pinata and hitting it and hitting it and hitting it, and it's not breaking, but if you hit it one more time just in the right spot, it'll crack open and all the candy will come out. It's the same thing in life. You just have to keep on going. Get through that next day. One more day.
Oh, that's good. And that's the heart and the spirit of entrepreneurialism in all of itself is like, hey, show up, don't quit. You're going to rise to the top for the rest of those that did quit. And if you're listening to this episode and you're like, well, I don't know how to find that encouragement, there's so many resources online in books, self help stuff, hanging out with other entrepreneurs. Why do you think I love going to networking meetings? Because I meet phenomenal people that have like pressed through the hard, right? And so if you need that support, we could be one of two of the people that you could go and get that support to get you through that hard time too. So thank you so much for your time. I'm so grateful that we got to have this show. I know we're like, wait a minute. I don't think you've been on my show yet. Can you come? So I'm glad we finally got to make this one happen. And then I thank you everybody who's listening and go ahead and share this episode to those you know who need to hear about it, especially your people that are getting ready or thinking of doing events or are doing events all wrong. And they need someone like Amanda to come in and make it amazing for them. And in the meantime, go have a great day and I will see you guys pretty soon. Bye.
Bye, friends.